Hi everyone, welcome to the second edition of our discussion on the XYZ of the human identity. Today we are going to cover the variable X. It's not your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, and it definitely is not about X-Men, just like the shirt that I'm wearing. So remember the last video we talked about representing sex using the variable X. So today we're going to talk about sex. Just to set your expectation, we are not going to talk about coitus or anything sexually related. Definitely not about Kama Sutra, and nothing pornographic will be covered here as well. So get your dirty minds out of the gutter. So let's start with the denotative meaning of sex. Sex is either of the two main categories into which humans and most other living things are divided on the basis of their reproductive functions. When you say main categories, that's when we say you're either a male or a female, purely physiological or biological in nature. When I watched the video about fertilization on YouTube, it talked about um, the sperm sharing either an X chromosome or a Y chromosome during its union with the egg cell. That's when our sex gets determined initially, right? During the pregnancy period, the genitalia, which is the physical manifestation of that, chromosome, starts to develop on the ninth week of pregnancy. So now let's also assign some variables for the subcategories of X, right? So remember, X is sex, and X sub 1 now will be for boy or male. X sub 2 is now for girl or female. So don't forget this, because we're going to use this on the fifth video, the last one. We're going to put everything together when we identify or classify our human identity. So now, if you ask me if we ought to reclassify those who have undergone sex organ reassignment, my answer is simple. It's yes. If our sole basis is the genitalia, whether determined by birth or acquired through a surgery, a penis is a penis and a vagina is a vagina, right? Logic dictates that if you have a penis, you're a boy, and if you have a vagina, you're a girl. Doesn't matter how you acquired it, right? And so that's basic. That's why I'm saying yes, they need to be reclassified if they've undergone the surgery. However, what makes it complicated? Since as human beings, we love complicating simple things. What makes it complicated is if we add all the factors that we took away earlier, such as religion, politics, tradition, conservatism, etc., etc. The legality of that reclassification is something that is not well accepted in several countries, especially in countries where Catholicism is very dominant, just like the Philippines, right? But I still hope that one day we get to a point where our lawmakers would be more liberal and open-minded and respect these choices that the members of the LGBT community have for themselves. Because really, we are not doing anything that is criminal in nature. It is by choice that they wanted to identify themselves as male or female, and to complete their identity, they want to go through the sex organ reassignment. Now, if they are not open to using them from X2 to X1 or X1 to X2, there's also the option of creating a third and a fourth sex, right? So what do I mean by that? We can always add an X sub 3 and X sub 4 for those who went through the surgery. X sub 3 could be for people who switch from male to female genitalia, and then X sub 4 could be for female to male genitalia. We don't always need to conform with the norm when we can always break the norms and build new ones, right? So this would give you an idea on how I feel about the bathroom issues. Why force the binary male-female norm when we can build better system by establishing a third or a fourth type of toilet? Part of what we call thinking outside the box. I know some of the members of the LGBTQ plus community aren't really comfortable using the third bathroom. But why force it if we can have our very own but when toilet? You talk about the binary male or female, and they don't want us crossing boundaries, then we welcome the very idea of building a third bathroom, um, that will make everybody comfortable. Right? But nowadays we love the idea that we're being tolerated, but really tolerance is not the full acceptance of the existence, right, of our community. So what I call for is really respect that will lead us closer to acceptance. Because if we simply tolerate, that's actually nowhere near acceptance, right? I think the road to acceptance would start from acknowledging the existence and then start respecting um, the choices that we make, um, and having that level of respect would be closer to acceptance, not just tolerance, right? I do not call for tolerance on the videos that I'm making. I am calling for respect, um, especially when, and I'll say it again, uh, that it isn't really your choice to make, number one. And that during the sex organ reassignment, it wasn't your money that was spent, it wasn't your energy that was used, right? You did not feel a single pain of that process or that surgery. So you really, and I hate to say this, right? Really, you have no say on these choices that the members of the LGBT community plus make. On the next video, we're going to talk about gender and try to touch on, as many components of its spectrum as possible. Until next time, bye!